Yeah, we back. Now, today's video is going to be a follow-up video to one I dropped over a year ago entitled, take a look up on the screen, The Reason Why Women Need a Husband, the richest women in the world. And in that video, I gave a list. I forget if it was 10 women or 20 women, but I gave a list of the most wealthy, most powerful women in the entire world, the richest women in the world. And it was interesting to me because in that list, every single woman on that list, all the way from Susan Clatton, who was worth like $23 billion, all the way up to Françoise Bettencourt-Meyers, who was worth like $75 billion. Every single woman on that list inherited her fortune either through her husband, through the man she married, or through the man that her mother married or her grandmother married, or it was mainly through family inheritance, a transfer of wealth either from her father, her grandfather, an uncle, or a husband, or whatever it may be. Every single woman without exception. So this video is going to be a follow-up to that one because we got an article coming out. I think it came from Black Enterprise or whatever. And the headline, as you can see, Black women and Latino women who never marry are the least wealthy in the United States. Now, I don't know why they included Latina women in the study or the article, but I'm gonna focus on the Black women sector because that's what we care about. You know what I mean? Let's jump into the article. A recent study has found that Black and Latino women who have never married have the least amount of wealth in the United States. According to an analysis by the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, 23% of adults who have never been married have significantly less wealth than married couples, with unmarried Black and Hispanic women being the most impacted via Bloomberg. Research found that in 2022, the median wealth of a Black woman was only 8 cents for every dollar owned by a white man. Now, y'all know me on my channel. I've never been one to speak against the institution of marriage. That's not my ministry. That's not my doctrine. That's not my message. I've always been somebody who encouraged brothers to get married, encouraged Black women to get married, because me, myself, I'm somebody who has reaped the benefits of my parents being married, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles being married for decades upon decades. So I've seen the benefits of that. So I would be a hypocrite to speak against that. But as you already know, we live in a society that does the opposite. We live in a society that encourages our women to remain single, remain by themselves. But unfortunately, according to the numbers and the data and the statistics, when it comes to the accumulation of power, wealth, prestige, and influence, trying to achieve these things by being single, by being a lone wolf, that is not the way to go. That is not the way to go. It's possible, but it's gonna be a little bit harder. But anyways, man, let's take a look at some of the reactions on social media. Take a look up on the screen. This lady said, "I cannot say that I agree with any of that." This person said, "Stop trying to make women feel like they cannot be wealthy without marriage. I hate this agenda and I'm a man. I know so many successful women of color. This is crazy." Now, when I was going through this comment section, I seen a lot of people trying to make an argument for the outliers, trying to make arguments for the exception to the rule. And in my opinion, I simply don't believe that's an intelligent way to go about things. Like I mentioned before, the wealthiest, most powerful women in the world, they inherited their fortune through their family connections. And I believe even when you look at the wealthiest women in Africa, for example, I believe it was, last time I checked, Isabella dos Santos, her father was the former president of Angola. So, it's no surprise how she became one of the most powerful women on the African continent. And then you got other women like Gina Kenyatta, who was the wife of Jomo Kenyatta, the former president of Kenya. Even when you look at other women such as Folorunso Alakija, a wealthy Nigerian woman, I believe her father was also a prominent man in society who had 50 children. So when you look at the women who are wealthy and powerful and prestigious in society, the majority of their wealth was accumulated through their family ties, their family connections. That's how it goes the majority of the time, man. Anything else is an outlier. That's how it's been for the majority of civilization. That's how it is. Even for the men who have attained high status in society as well, the majority of men that you see, the majority of millionaires and billionaires inherited their money through their family connections, through inheritance, leveraging their alliances, etc., etc. That's how it goes. You could give me, an NBA player, a rapper, somebody who hit the lottery. That's the outlier. I know you could tell me, okay, Oprah Winfrey, that is the outlier. Okay, that is the outlier. How many Oprah Winfreys can you name compared to the women who have inherited their wealth through their family connections, through their husband, through their father, their grandfather, their godfather, whatever it may be? That is the most common scenario. when it comes to women climbing the social ladder in society. That is how they do it. That's how they've been doing it. That's how they're going to keep doing it. Now let's continue. This person said, this is simply a slander piece for Black and Latino women who are single, unbothered, in abundance, and at peace. Oh God. This lady said, single women live longer than married women. Pick your poison. Now, I've never read a study on that. I think that's kind of, case by case basis. How could you really say who lives longer? There's so many things that go into who lives longer. Genetics, environment, access to healthcare, access to wealth. I simply find it hard to believe, with the benefits that come along with marriage, that the single woman doing it all by herself is living longer than the woman who has a support system, who has a husband getting up, working every day. I just find it hard to believe. But hey, you never know. You never know. I'm not going to rule it out. Let's continue. This person said, stop trying to scare women into marriage. Single Black women are leading in education, home ownership, mental and physical well-being, and doing the most traveling. So this study might not be fact-based. Now, like I said, in this comment section, a lot of people were arguing for the outliers, for the exception. Like I said, I simply find it hard to believe that single women are somehow outpacing women from prestigious families, women with productive husbands, industrious husbands. I simply find it hard to believe that you are in a superior position compared to a woman who has a man getting up every single day, going hard, bringing home the bacon. I simply find it hard to believe. And keep in mind, one thing we don't bring into account is the fact that it's one thing to have a 2-income household, but we don't talk about the inheritance that comes from both sides of the family. What happens when the wife inherits the assets from her family and the husband inherits the assets from his family, right? So now that's even doubling, quadrupling on top of the money they've already combined together. So like I said, man, I simply find it hard to believe that single women are outpacing women who have 2 to 3 to 4 times more at their disposal in terms of resources and connections. I just simply find it hard to believe, but I'm not going to rule it out. But let's continue. These ladies said at the top, the first one said, nope. The second one said, this is so odd to me because my unmarried friends are thriving. The third one said, these articles are conspiracies. Once again, arguing for the exception to the rule, arguing for the outliers. Listen, we got to stop doing that, man. Let's continue. This lady said, stop trying to propagate women into getting married. We do so much better when we are not partnered. Oh my God. When you examine the mindset among our people, it's clear to see why we don't have the money, power, and prestige that we desire. Because our mentality is just, it's very backwards, man. We have a very backwards mentality, man. Honestly, man. Really, like I told you, all the wealthiest, most powerful women in the world, they've inherited their money through their family connections. I don't want to hear about Oprah. I don't want to hear about Beyonce. Even Beyonce, her father put her on. But I don't want to hear about Rihanna. I don't want to hear about none of that. That's like talking to me about the NBA players or the rappers. That is the extreme outlier. That is the extreme outlier. Those are entertainers. They do not engage in true business. You cannot use them as an example or a measuring stick of anything, to be honest. So anyway, let's continue. This person said, I would like a further breakdown. I don't believe that single childless Black women are riding the struggle bus. If anything, I believe this is the group that is doing the best financially. I say this as a single childless Black woman millionaire. Once again, arguing the exception. How many Black women walking around as single and childless and playing with millions of dollars? Like, come on, man, we gotta be for real, man. Like I mentioned before in a previous video, it doesn't matter what country you are living in. The majority of the wealth is concentrated in the hands of a few families at the top, and everybody else is just getting by. Even in white society, the majority of the wealth is concentrated in the hands of the elite white families at the top. And the average white person don't even really got money like that, for real. The average white person is just a regular person, man, driving, a regular car, living in a regular house. That's the reality of the situation, man. We got to stop arguing for the outliers to the rule, the exceptions to the rule. That's not reality, man. She went on to say, additionally, it is not smart for Black women to take up with poor men. Nothing good comes from it. Now, I don't even understand why she even put in that last sentence, because nobody said that the pathway to wealth and prosperity is to get with a man who is not productive and who does not have money coming in. No, you're supposed to attach yourself to an industrious, productive man with a direction who's headed to the destination of success. That's what it is. So I don't understand why the only two options available is to be by yourself or to be with somebody who is in poverty. How come there isn't a third option? Get with the man who is on the trajectory to success. Get with the man whose journey points towards prosperity. And preferably you should get with that man while he's on the way to success. Don't wait until he already reached success, because once he already gets there, he might not, you might not be able to get him, because he might, it might be too late for you. So you have to align yourself with that man when he's on the way up the mountaintop. Don't wait until he gets to the top of the mountain. Don't wait, because you might not be able to get him by then. When you take my father, for example, my father is a millionaire, but my mother did not wait until she got with that man when he was on his way up, when he was driving taxis in the city. You know what I mean? When they were splitting the Chinese food together, that's when she got with my father. Now my father, multiple luxury vehicles, shit popping, shit lit. But she did not wait. You have to get with the man that's on the way to success, man. And you have to align yourself with that man. That is the easiest pathway to success, man. Don't try to do it by yourself. You're never going to catch up to the women who's already got a man, who's already got a father or uncle, in-laws who got money. You're never going to catch up to these people. You're never going to catch up. It's like trying to run a race on foot and they in the car, right? You're trying to race against somebody who's in a car. You're never going to catch up, bro. You're never going to catch up on foot and they're in a motherfucking Ferrari. Nigga, you're not going to catch up, bro. The net worth of married black women is like 8 times more than the net worth of single black women. You're never going to catch up, man. You're starting the race at 0 and these women are starting the race at 500. You're never going to catch up. You're not going to catch up, man. We got to stop arguing for the outliers and the exceptions to the rule. Let's continue. This brother said, if this upsets you, you likely do not understand how wealth works whatsoever. There are several studies on married men earning higher wages, married couples being more wealthy, married women retiring wealthy, men living longer, etc., etc. Y'all need to stop believing that you can just do it alone and suddenly become hugely successful. Most do not, and undermining the power of marriage and its wealth building potential just makes you look dumb. Absolutely. Amen, brother. Amen. Round of applause, man. Let's continue. This person said, some of the responses to this post are extremely troubling. It is bordering on complete delusion. It's been known for some time that married people have more wealth than single people. This is in every demographic across the board. This post is simply stating that of all the unmarried women, Black and Hispanic women have the lowest amount of wealth on average. I'm seeing comments questioning the study. However, some people are acting like this cannot be true. Is it really that far-fetched? For the Black and Latino women who are high earners, you must know that you represent a very small portion of the population of women to your race who are fortunate enough to be in that income bracket. What's troubling is that our society has made us so disconnected from poor people that we don't even care about their plight or their suffering in this economy. Middle class people in particular seem to suffer from a delusion that says that the world revolves around them, likely because they suffer from low self-esteem and have used their somewhat marginal success to look down on others. For the love of God, please get over yourselves. Man, round of applause to that brother, man. Like I said, folks are trying to argue for the exception to the rule. All right. Exception to the rule. Like I said before, the majority of women, the wealthiest women in the world, they've all inherited their wealth through their family connections. That's a fact, man. That's a fact. When I look at my sisters, they're already headed to the direction of success simply by who their father is, simply by who the man that their mother chose to marry. So it's not a mistake, man. It's not a coincidence, man. It's not a coincidence, bro. It's not a coincidence. That's the most common and easy pathway to success, the family structure. End of discussion. I don't care what nobody say. Now, you could say, well, Nefakari Salim, the successful and the productive and the industrious Black men don't want to marry Black women. I call cap. That's a lie, because I did a video a while back entitled, do elite Black men date outside their race? The top 12 richest Black men in the world, and every single one of those men was with Black women. End of discussion. I'm not talking about the rappers and ball players. I'm talking about the elite multi-billionaire businessmen that are doing real business. I'm not talking about a fucking rapper. I'm not talking about a fucking athlete. I'm talking about real businessmen, real CEOs, real bosses. Yes, they were all married to Black women. End of discussion, man. Now, I'm going to run a clip from a good brother who is also giving the other side of the argument. In this video, I gave the argument as to the benefits of the family structure for women. Now, this brother is going to give the benefits of the family structure for men. I'm gonna play the clip and I'll be right back. Let's go.
And your wife is looking at all this while married to you, a nice, smart black man, something that's very rare, in fact, and starts to realize that she is in a great situation and starts to appreciate you far, far more. Now, in the end, what happens? You get black children, you have a black wife, you start to engage in a community of smart black men. You all have children. You raise a generation of black people that we wish existed before. This generation grows up. We grow up in a society in which the world is far more serious. Anyways, you grow up in a society in which people are far more serious. Racial tension is only getting higher, and people are only more conscious of race. The smart black men and smart black women will start to consolidate more and more. And eventually there will be a society of smart black people. This society will only get much more serious and much more connected, and eventually will realize and acknowledge the needs for real defense. And societies will be produced and defended by this population. And this population is going to create the future of the black race while the rest of it is utterly destroyed. You get to produce children that also acknowledge you and acknowledge how smart you are, and also become just as smart as you are. Your wife also becomes smarter, and your community only gets better together. Eventually, you're only going to become more and more powerful as you're smart people and you're connected smart people. The society that you've always wanted will be created by you and people like you, and our population will only grow because of you. I think that's a much better scenario.
Reincarnated, I'm back in original fashion. I left on a horse and came back in that ass, and I left with abundance and came back to famine. We used to be pyramids, now we be rapping. Look how the mighty have fallen. Used to be running, now we be walking. When you be cooning, that's when they applauded. Selling your soul, your sons and your daughter. Gotta come up in this shit, they stuck in the mix. Really, my heart it be breaking. That's why I'm stacking that paper and handle my business. Pass it down in generation. Talking about money and power and building a nation. That's a deadly combination. Never be watching the TV, they pushing agendas, falsifying information. Know they got malice intentions. Step in the room and I'm feeling the tension. Enemy watching me blocking my vision. Pay for the check cause I need my redemption. Building my kingdom, I need it protected. Ready for war like a young Money Congo. Never decided the team is the motto. Up in the crib and I'm whipping up waffles. Up in the crib and I'm smoking gelato. I'm chilling, I'm taking my pain and make it ambition. I'm blessed by the gods, but I ain't religious. I came for the power, they came for the bitch. They making no hourly wage, I got business. This shit is an art and they could never be taught. Selling my soul, I can never be bought. Play with my money, I see you ain't caught. Run to the check and I do it for sport. Babylon falling, I go to the source. Packing my luggage and go overseas. Shorty be with me and she so at least. Shorty be chocolate, I'm calling her Hershey. Secret intelligence probably gon' murk me. Don't fuck with brands, cause nigga I'm Haitian. Say the wrong shit and you're smacking their faces.